Summary 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Started.
Yeah, okay. Today we are going to discuss about the introduction to the architecture of a Unix. So Unix is a basic programming language based operating system. So it runs on codes and commands. So basically that is about Unix in a normal way. But as Unix is an open source software, so many companies are trying to just use it for their own purpose by just making some changes in that. So the original name was Unix operating system, but it was turned to AIX, HPUX, Solaris. So these names are the some of the names which are invented by some of these companies or industries. So Unix is basically a command interface operating system. So what is meant by command interface operating system? So basically, in the if we just consider a high level programming, then any user can understand those things, right? So command interface, it is nothing but we need to just get a minimum knowledge about some of its programming language. Like, so if we just get some grip on this some of these languages, then Unix will be one of the best operating system which we can just use now. And it also gives us much more facilities, like multiple users can access at the same time. So that is one of the best feature which was given by this Unix operating system. And then while coming to Unix architecture, so basically if you just consider this architecture, no need to just get some big stretches, so we can just consider the small one. So basically it comes from hardware is nothing but the basic things which we require to just build a good operating system. So those are the hardware components for an operating system. And kernel it is just nothing but interface between this shell and hardware. So shell is nothing but this high level programming which we are giving to just use this for commanding purpose. So as it is a command interface programming language, shell is only for the purpose of just giving the commands to this interface. So kernel is nothing but it will just pass the commands in between this shell and hardware. So if we just consider this in our normal language till now what we had done, this is just like a compiler. So it will just take the code and it will just convert into a machine language and it will just send it to this interface, and the hardware will just give its output. So it is just like that, and user it has nothing but these are the applications which we will just get. So to get an application we will just write a code in shell. So 1 second, I think there won't be any pencil option here. Yeah, okay, fine. So user needs some applications to be done. So he will just pass the commands through shell to the hardware with the help of a kernel. So this is a basic architecture of a Unix. So it's a basic architecture for the Unix operating system, and then working of all the components in the architecture. So hardware, it is nothing but it consists of this physical component required for the system, and kernel, it works as a low level programming and it is also known as the heart of the system. So basically low level programming, it is nothing but the binary language. So it works as an interface in between the shell and hardware. So low level tasks are device management, memory management, and system call controls. So these are the tasks which were given by the shell from the user to hardware unit. So this is done with the help of this kernel, and then shell, it works on high level programming of the system. So this is just nothing but the commands which were given by the user. And then applications are, so basically if we need to just open a Word file in the Unix, we need to just write some command or a code in this command prompt. So the Word files and the PPTs and the browsers and whatever it is required, we need to just pass some commands in this command prompt to just access those applications. And then root directory. So if you just consider this root directory, so root directory, it is just nothing but this predefined functions. So there will be some functions like if we just consider the C language, we will just include stdio.h and conio.h as these libraries, right? So these libraries are just used for some inbuilt functions. So if you need to just write a code for printf, it is not easy, right? So writing a printf code for so many times is not so easy. So we can just consider some of these functions and we can just put it in some libraries. So we can just make it as a predefined libraries, or even we can just make it as a user friendly libraries. Like we can just create a library by our own with the help of these things. So slash is this slash is just, it is used for locating a directory. So basically bin is for binaries and boot is for boot files, and cd-rom is cd-roms, and dev is device files, configuration files, home folders, essential shared libraries. So these are some of the derivations of this whole thing. So we can just create a library by our own if it is required. Then Unix file system. So now I am going to just discuss about this Unix file system. So this slash is just for the representation purpose, and these are the already predefined directories, and the user defined directory is nothing but using a particular library for our purpose. So now here I am just using this home directory by the user for opening this documents, and then for opening this desktop, and also for opening this photos. So basically we can just use this directories for working for our working purpose. So basically boot block, super block, inode block, data block, it consists of all bootable objects. It consists of file system related files. It contains index type mode. Data block consists of where the data is stored. So basically we can just use these directories to just complete our work in a proper way by passing the commands in the command prompt. So this is briefly about this Unix operating system and this devices. Thank you.